Hi, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Proud to live in the greatest country in the world. Unfiltered opinions, no PC discussion here. Agree, disagree, hate it, love it, it's all good. Sit back and enjoy some unfiltered commentary. We discuss politics, culture, interviews, and more. Your comments are always welcome. Please help the channel by hitting that subscribe button. Doesn't cost a thing. And as always, thanks for your support. Hi folks, welcome back. This is a pretty hot topic in the news lately because of things that are going on. Should the Trump supporters, or they call them the MAGA people, and I'm one of them, dump the Republican Party? This is a tough one because your emotions, your gut instinct says, yeah, the hell with them. They have no backbone. They don't know how to fight back. And, of course, everybody's pissed at Mitch McConnell congratulating Joe Biden. Now, I'm not a big Mitch fan. I mean, he knows how to handle the Senate as majority leader extremely well. But the kind of tactic now that's needed is basically Trump's tactic. I mean, roll around the dirt, get dirty with the pigs while you fight them. It's street fighting, and Republicans just by nature. And I say that because even locally, at the state level here, I'm in upstate New York, at the state level here in New York, and a lot of the Republican Party in general. Now, I left the Democratic Party in 2013. I was a local elected city councilman. And I'll tell you, I really gave the Republicans on city council at the time years ago. I was there from 2000 to 2007. I really gave them a hard time. And they weren't that great on fighting back. I think it's just the nature of conservatism. You just have a different mindset how you approach things. You try to be logical, and you try to use facts and historical examples of how your side, what you think, your ideology doesn't work, and it's very debate-like and very civil, and you know what? Those freaking days are over, at least for now, because the Democrat Party has lost their freaking minds. These people live and breathe their ideology, especially the progressives and the leftists. That is the morning. The minute they wake up in the morning to the minute they go to sleep, and probably even after they go to sleep, their ideology controls everything they do, think, or say. Now, conservative people, I was considered an old school Democrat when I was a Democrat, John Kennedy Democrat, I guess, for lack of a better term, Harry Truman Democrat, something like that. And those days are over, and lines are being drawn, rigid lines on both sides. There's not much middle ground anymore. The people that are, we'll call moderate Republicans and moderate Democrats, especially moderate Democrats, are a very, very rare breed now. And it's going to be tough. Sides are forming quickly, and they're dug in, and they're dug in hard. This is street fight time. This is just down and dirty. You don't care how it's done, because that's the way the Democrats roll. And a lot of Republicans say, I'm not lowering myself to that kind of level. Well, you have to now. You have to now, whether you like it or not. So let me go back to the original question. Should the Trump supporters dump the Republicans? And the answer is yes and no. And it's not a politician's answer. Yes, in the fact that emotionally you think, you know what? You stabbed us in the back, especially the Trump supporters, the MAGA people. And I include myself in that, but I'm not like a cult follower. I have my criticisms of President Trump, and they're real criticisms and legit criticisms. But it's the policies. He is not really a Republican, and he's not really a Democrat. He is a populist. And populists have one ideology and one ideology only. How does it help the average American? Period. How does it improve their economic situation? How does the ideology of a populist makes way for what I call the American dream? That if you work hard, do your best, things will come your way. It's something that's been embedded into Americanism, as I call it, for a long, long time. And he touched on that with Make America Great Again, and they all made fun of him. It touched on a nerve. It touched on the fact for now coming up on 3 generations, the middle class, upper, lower class, whatever you want to call it, has been shit on and ignored and dumped on for years. They were forgotten. And all that seemed to matter was the ultra-rich, minorities, and the extreme poor. And everybody else in between, nobody gave a damn about. Their lives were ruined. The entire Midwest and manufacturing base was destroyed. It destroyed whole towns wholesale. I think the president said when he first ran for office, there was over 5,000 factories closed in the United States. I think it's more. Just think about that for a minute. Jesus, that's a shitload of people whose lives were just ripped out from under them, that they were told since they were kids, if you live the American dream, you work hard, you really try, you show up, you do your job, you do your best, and you'll have a job. You'll have a decent paying job, decent wages, benefits, and you'll always have that for security. And that was stolen from them through really, really crappy trade deals. And so now coming up on 3rd generation, this may be the first time in U.S. history, I'm not an economist, the first time in U.S. history that 2 going on 3 generations now are worse off than the previous generation. It's unheard of in this country. Maybe we're just spoiled, but our system is so good that it allowed that to happen, that every generation does a little bit better, and the next generation does a little bit better. And that was just devastating to the people that played by the rules. People like my father, his parents were what they call off-the-boat Italians. He's first generation. You went to school, you worked hard, took care of your family, you worried about your community and your friends and people you cared about, and you showed up to work and you did a good job and things were fine. He got in IBM when they were first starting. He was a computer programmer for almost 30 years. And he worked there a long time, and that was not unusual that you worked at the same place 20, 25, 30 years. My grandmother, my mother's mother, worked at Ansco in the film plant here in upstate New York in Binghamton, Broome County. Also known as GAF, for those who don't know what Ansco is. She worked there for 48 years. And this is not unusual for that generation. That you had basically guaranteed employment. You showed up, you did your job, you could count on that security, and you raised your family. But then the rug was pulled out from under them, and the rules were changed. They were lied to. They were basically deserted, used, taken for granted. Crappy trade deals just destroyed the middle class in this country. Some of the middle class went up. The vast majority were just wiped out. Marriages destroyed. Families busted up. alcohol and drug abuse because of it. It was just miserable. Whole towns just closed down. Welfare and government programs that keep you alive. And they felt cheated, and they were. And this is what the president touched on in his campaign, Make America Great Again. So here we are now. President Trump's in a bad spot. I believe about a lot of, we'll call irregularities and oddities happen because you can't use the F word here on YouTube anymore. The F word not being what the old F word was. The F word is F-R-A-U-D. They feel cheated. They feel cheated again. They felt cheated for going on almost 3 generations now. They finally got their champion with all his flaws and all his issues, personality-wise and other. They finally got someone that, as Michael Moore said, the biggest FU in human history to the system. And this was the guy that was representing that FU. He was the guy that was going to walk into the room and flip over the table and say, everybody, you know what? You're all full of shit, and we're starting over because what you're doing isn't working. And believe me, what he calls the swamp, the thousands and thousands of government agency employees, the FBI, the CIA, the people dug in, the entrenched people, Donald Trump, was a risk to them, a big risk of just upturning everything. And they reacted. And we ended up how we ended up right now. And that is where we sit. So we go back to the original question. Should Trump supporters dump the Republicans? Emotionally, your gut feeling says yes, F them. But we're at a bad spot. You can't cut your nose off to spite your face. Will the Republicans ever change? They'll only change when you destroy their party, or they end up being basically a second-rate party and the Democrats take over everything and they become more powerless and useless than they already are. And believe me, there's many in the Senate and the House of Representatives that are Republicans that are spineless. Mitt Romney is the poster boy for spineless milquetoast. Just spineless. Be friendly to the media, or they'll be mean to me. Well, the mainstream media hates your guts because there's an R in front of you, in front of your name, and they don't care. You can't make peace with these people. Their goal is to destroy every conservative person in elected office, whether it be local levy here from city council that I used to be on, all the way through the presidency. They want you gone. We are at war, and the Republicans are bringing a knife to a gunfight for a very long time. And now that it looks like we're going to have a new president, it looks like they're going back to their old tactics. Milquetoast, spineless. Don't want to roll around in the dirt. Don't want to get dirty. Don't want to get in a street fight. But for right now, I'm telling all the Trump supporters, and I'm a very big one, do not turn away the Republicans right now. We have a common enemy, and that common enemy is the progressives and the leftists. They're trying to burn down our entire system. And the Senate election is next month. And now there's people going around, and I think righteous people that are Trump supporters, and just everyday working people say, you know what, this is BS. We got cheated. What's the point of even voting? Let the Republicans burn. They deserve it for being spineless. Well, you can't do that right now. There's a huge Senate race, 2 of them, as a matter of fact, both in Georgia, as you well know. As bad as the Republicans are, as spineless as a lot of them are, with all their flaws, we have a common enemy. We need them. We need them for the firewall to stop the Democrats from taking the Senate. And in 2 years, there'll be a bloodbath, and the Democrats will be wiped out of the Senate, wiped out of the House. I know it for a fact, just as I know as the world is round. It's going to happen. All the signs point to it, and everybody knows it, except for the Democrats, of course, because they're clueless. They did everything they could to get rid of President Trump, and it looks like they succeeded, but they destroyed themselves in doing it. We cannot split up now. Everyone that's against the progressives and the leftists and what they want to do to our country to make it unrecognizable, to make it just another European nation, which we're not and never will be, I hope, because we are special. We are unique. They take our Constitution and they wipe their ass with it, and they think nothing of it. It's the Constitution that's held this republic together. It held us together for over 200 years. And it stood the test of time, battered and beaten, but still viable, still what keeps us together. And they want to just rip it to pieces. They want the Constitution only when it's convenient for them, like these draconian lockdowns. And now we have law enforcement arresting business owners for just trying to survive, just to eat and take care of their families. They're being arrested now. We are at a crossroads, and we can't even leave even the milquetoast, spineless Republicans behind. We have to show them that you need to fight back. You need to fight back. And Trump, with all his faults, and believe me, there's many of them, has shown them how to fight back. So for right now, let's stick together. We might not like it, but let's stick together. Get the Republicans, drag them through this. Grab them by the shirt collar and just drag them through and have them hold the Senate. And then say, guys, 2 years is the midterms. 2/3 of the senators coming up for re-election are Democrats. And the Democrats hold a small majority in the House. We helped you guys cross the finish line and create this firewall to stop these progressives and leftists. If you screw us again, if you just pretend like you're on our side and do something else, we will destroy your party. The Democrats are already being shambles, but we will make sure you're gone as well. We'll form our own third party if we have to. And I think the old school Democrats, and I think the constitutionalists and the Trump supporters, the MAGA people as they call them, will band together and form a third party. But let's put up the firewall in the Senate first. I know, hold your nose, vote for the Republicans that are there just to stop the Democrats, progressives, and leftists from going too far. That's my particular opinion. We can't cut our nose off to spite our faces, even though all the Republicans do deserve to get put out. Now is not the time. As in life and politics and everything, timing is everything. And now is not the time to flex your muscles. Wait until after January's runoff elections in Georgia, and then organize. Get a hold of top Republicans in the Senate and the House, and even at the state level, and say, you know what, guys? We stuck by you. But now is your time to repay our army, our allegiance, our supporting you. And if you don't, we will put you out. We will form our own party, and all hell's going to break loose. So if you don't want that, grow a pair, as they say in the old days, and just look out for the middle class who's been dumped on, lied to, and cheated for all these years and conned. This is your only opportunity. Don't screw it up. Anyway, folks, that's my opinion. I hope things work out. I really do. But until next time, goodbye and good luck.